Bueno, un día más, another day, another thing. So, well, today we're going to start by talking a little bit about different things. Today it's a really interesting day. I've made not a lot of things today. I've based my day on reading, on understanding several things, on doing a homework that I have to do for my master's degree. So I just wanted to share with you what I've been doing today. I'll be continuing doing this as a daily thing. I'm thinking about opening a podcast about related things and about specific topics that I would like to talk about and move from that point on. Okay. So I today I just wanted to mention some things about this book. This book I bought it like 6 months ago. I'm currently at half of it. I haven't read it all, but it's called in Spanish it's called Líder de 360 grados, and in English it would be like 360 leader, something like that, a 360 degrees leader. And well, I just wanted to mention some things that I've learned from this book so far. It's a really interesting book. You can learn a lot of things from it. It has really, really deep thoughts about what you should do as a leader, and that you misunderstand the whole concept of being a leader, which is something that we usually do, and I include myself because I have done it before. I have thought that in order to be a good leader, you have to be at the top when it's not all the time that way. You can be a good leader and be at the middle position, the second position, in other position that it's not the leader, right? You don't need to be the boss in order to be a good leader. You can be an employee and be a leader at the same time. So there are some other things that I have made some mistakes myself. I've learned to be a leader from other courses that I have taken in my life, but well, this book wrote by John C. Maxwell, for me it's actually one of the best things that I've been reading so far. Um, in addition, I've been learning other things. For example, today I read some things related to the second language acquisition and how constructivism, how conductivism, and how cognitivism can work themselves together, or how these theories can lead to a different result from what you expect from it. Well, and that's some things that I have been studying. But today I wanted to mention some things about leaders that many people forget and many people tend to take it for granted in some scenarios, which is not always the truth. And they tend to misunderstand what being a leader is. So I have three strong points in which I want to make emphasis. Another up way to talk about it. Okay. So the first thing is you need to stay calm as a leader. Okay. A good leader is a person that is able to solve issues that other people cannot solve, and they take into consideration all the possibilities so they can take the best actions, or they can take the best decisions for the best outcome. Not only taking the best decisions can make you get the best outcome, sometimes a decision needs to be tough in order to get the correct outcome. The problem is that people tend to call themselves leaders, and there's one point in which you cannot have any flawless at that point. And it's when you're attacked, when you are presented with situations that you didn't expect because they were planned to go as good as possible. And you get frustrated, you get mad, you get angry, you explode in some cases. But remember, a good leader is the leader that thinks with their mind calm. Okay, you can out. How can I say this? You can have external signals of different things. Okay, you can have, I don't know, your forehead can be frown. I think it's called like frown. You can show the world that you're red and things like those, but always think calmly and act calmly. Don't let those emotions overtake your decision abilities. Okay, so you need to take that into consideration when you're going to be a good leader. Always calm. If you get mad, if you get emotional, you may lose. Second thing, analyze all things. Okay, you're not going to just take the quickest decision without even taking into consideration all the specific things. A good leader always knows what is better for the team, but also analyzes which is better in each situation. So you need to be calm and analyze everything so you can take the best decision for your team, the best decision for you, the best decision for your company in some other cases. Okay. The third thing, and which is actually really important because it's mentioned in this book, if you're not at the top, if you're not the boss, if you're not the CEO, if you're not the I don't know, the spike of the chain food, do not try to outplay or to discredit your boss, your main source of power. If you are in a second position, third position, fourth position, any position below the boss position, the number one, you need to take into consideration that all those numbers that are on top of you have a power that you don't have, even if you're a best leader than them. So you need to work around that. Don't try to make them look bad. If you make them look bad and you look good, probably you're gonna have more problems than benefits. One really important lesson that I learned from this video is from this book is that if you can make your boss look good and at the same time people acknowledge that you are behind that scene, it's better because your boss will feel happy and the people will know your value. So keep on pushing that way. Don't, how can I say this? Don't discredit your boss. That's it. But there also are three things that I will consider the three weak points in my decision. When you're uh, trying to be a leader and you don't have the whole power, or um, you don't consider different things. Okay, so I think that one of the weakest points when you're trying to be a leader and you are below is that you cannot try to be the leader of that person on top of you. You cannot try it. At the moment that that person feels threats from you, intellectually, physically, or any kind of threat, you may be going home. And that's a reality. I will tell you a story. Once I was working for a project. It was not even a company. I was working for a project, and I was doing my job. I did my job great. I worked there for around what 3 years, and I saved that project from being closed. I helped the project to float as much as it could, and one of these days, it was like, I don't know, 3 months ago, something like that. No, it was not 3 months. It was like 2 months ago, something like that. I was supposed to go back to the project. I cannot be in the project all the time because I'm a postgraduate student, so I need to go back to in order for them to give me the space to teach there and to do my job. They had to find another type of uh paycheck and things like those. So there was a mess. Now that I was supposed to go back, I was working without any kind of payment because I really enjoyed being on the project and I liked to spend my time there. So I was working hard, and the person at the top, I was like in the second position. I was not third, fourth anymore. It was second position because I have helped a lot. Well, that person thought that it was good to saturate me with work, even if that person was not paying me anymore. So I started saying that I think it's not fair, but I was doing it anyways. And Well, from one point to the other point, I am not going to be able to go back to work there because she felt threats from me. She felt threatened that I was telling people that I was the one saving the project, which in fact, I was. And I probably she felt that as a threat, even though I did my job as I should have done it. Well, yes, it was not enough for her, as I can see. And I'm not going back to the project. So don't try to, well, don't try to outplay number one. If you're number two, play around. Don't let that person know anything that you're capable of, and try just to network around. Don't explicitly represent a threat to that person. No, nor psychologically, nor physically, nor intellectually, anything. Okay, you don't have to make that person feel a threat. If that person feels a threat, probably you're going home. That's happened to me. Okay. Second point: stay diligent. Even if you're a good leader and you're in the second position, that's a weak position. That's one of the weaknesses of being a leader. You have to be diligent, even if you're doing your work correctly. And people sometimes get too accustomed to that diligence. So you have to make a balance, okay? Don't try everything and don't destroy yourself just because you have to be diligent to someone, okay? You, how can I explain this? You're a leader. You want to do the job, but don't let people accustomed to that work you're doing because you think it's correct. There are some people that once you stop doing that work will call you, I don't know, that you're a lazy person, that you don't cooperate, even though you were doing something that were not supposed for you to be doing. So that's a weak spot. Okay, it's not something bad, but could bring you some troubles in the future. So just be careful about that. Think twice, analyze everything, as I said before, and everything should be fine. But don't make people, well, if you stay diligent, that could be a weakness for the future. Don't over stress yourself. I know you can do a lot of things, but sometimes it's better to mark lines because they're just using you. And um, another weakness of being a leader in a second position and you're not the boss, or being a leader in general, is that a lot of people will not be on the same rush that you're feeling. Okay, we as leaders, and I will consider me a leader because some people have said it before. Um, we tend to rush. We need to do things. We need to finish things. We need to move forward. We need to do a lot of things, and that's why we are good at what we do. The problem is that if you are as a leader, run, and there is people in your team that are not leaders, you might probably fail because of that people. Not because they're bad, not because of their intellectual capacities, but because they're not rushing as you're doing. So you can kill yourself rushing, you can accelerate everything, you can outperform everyone. That if your team is not following you, you might lose. So that's three weaknesses that I consider when you're a leader. Number one, if you're the numbers two, you probably cannot um, you cannot go against the power, so you cannot try to leader number one and number. If you're number three, you cannot try to leader number two and number three. That's the number two and number one. That's not gonna happen. Um, another weakness: if you stay diligent, they can uh, get accustomed to that, and once you stop doing it, or once you decrease your performance, you're probably the bad guys. So think about it. And if you rush, as leaders usually do, you might get the F word, right? You might get into troubles, and your team might not follow you, and you probably will end up doing things that you're not uh, supposed to do at the moment, and that could be a failed work due to that. So, as a matter of fact, and as a conclusion of everything, try to go forward, move forward for every single thing you wish. And if you're a good leader, people will notice that, and you will get rewarded for that. Don't try to outshine the master. That's one of the laws of the power from the 48 laws of power. Don't outshine the master. If you're a good leader, you will learn to know how to work around that. And well, I think that would be all for today. I hope you have a wonderful week. And this is my week number 3. I will place the number here and place in the comments. I will start trying to use a black shirt every single time I record a video, because I think it looks a little bit more formal. So that would be all for today. I hope you had a wonderful week, wonderful day, wonderful night. Well, here in Costa Rica, it's 9 a.m. So 9 p.m. Sorry. So I don't know what's time on your country, but hopefully everything's doing fine. Bye bye. Take care. See you next time. Says bye bye. Jeff Blanco, el chico de Costa Rica.